Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Time for our video featuring our evil villains. On a side note, some of you guys sometimes ask why I say evil the way I do. It's quite simple. I got that from the Phantom movie. Way back when in 1989, I think, 90, when we got the Phantom movie with, yeah, the one with Billy Zane. There's a line in the movie. Sometimes I'll get attracted to certain lines, and there's one line specific in the movie where when they present Kabai Singh, they don't just present Kabai Singh or the pirate Kabai Singh, or they present him as the evil Kabai Singh, and basically that's where I got that from. Sometimes it stuck with me, and then whenever I started using evil, or when I started describing my character instead of describing, let's say, dark side, I would say the evil dark side. And as time went by, I would exaggerate the evil a bit more, which brought us to why I'm using evil and the way I use it. So whenever you hear me say evil, it comes from hearing the presentation of the evil Kabai Singh in the Phantom movie. So now that that's out of the way, let's start with our evil dark side Armory. Basically, this is my dark multiverse character, which pretty much became my main villain. And I upgraded our friend Darkseid very recently. Basically, I got the blue metallic material that is fairly new, and I was able to recreate something that is pretty darn close to the classic version of Darkseid. We already could recreate that look, but with the material, it adds an extra something. Also, like the gloves, right now the gloves are a perfect blue, but if I remove the material, the gloves have some sort of shade built into it, which makes them not very appealing. But thanks to the material, now they look awesome. And next, we'll go with the evil Thanos, or Thanos the Mad Titan. I probably should have made a video about Thanos quite some time ago, but I kept on pushing it back and pushing it back. So not quite a Thanos video, but here this is a close approximation of our friend Thanos from more from Avengers Endgame than Infinity War. I guess in Infinity War we see him sort of wearing his armor for like 5 minutes before he takes it off and decides to go without the armor. I'm not sure why exactly, but anyways. And next, we have our Galactus. I upgraded Galactus some time ago with some of the chroma material, but it's not exactly it. I'm not too happy about the result. I thought it would look better than that. I guess I'm gonna have to try to find some other purple material that will allow us to create a better looking Galactus. But right now, within the context of DC Universe Online, this is not a bad option, I guess. And last but not least, this isn't really an armory that I usually use. I just created this armory because this is the only character I have that's big enough to create a nice big version of the Hulkbuster armor. I've been toying with the idea of making a Hulkbuster video and never got around to doing it. So again, same a bit as Thanos, tonight is the night of nights. But as you can see, if you use the bigger body size, we can create a good looking version of our friend, the Hulkbuster Iron Man. And next we'll go with our Brainiac 11 character. It's the character that I use sometimes when I try to show off styles for female characters. I'm going to try to show more female styles in the future, but it's not always possible. Sometimes it takes all I have to be able to get the style on one character, so I usually get it on my multiverse character. But in some cases, if I manage to get the style on, for a second character, this should be it, and I should be able then to show the female version of the style. And this is mostly using some purple lantern style. Actually, no, it's a mishmash of a few things. But I kind of like the result. It's a mishmash of a few of the lantern styles that we got not too long ago as with the Green Lantern pack. And of course, the emblem is the Shade, the Changing Man emblem, but it works perfectly for a Brainiac character. And the one exception also is the pants is the Donna Troy pants. I thought it was fitting with this look. And someone some time ago asked if I could show the Huntress female version of the style. So here we are. I didn't really want to make a video just with that, so I was waiting either to make a follow-up to the Gotham Starter Pack video or the Batman Family Pack video, actually, in this case. So when I get the chance, I'll probably make another video where I'll feature this style a bit more. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But as you can see, we can recreate basically the style for the Huntress is spot on. The one drawback, I guess, is the hairstyle. We do not see the hairstyle in the back of the mask. That's the one drawback I can think of. I guess the one way to bypass that would be to use the Vigilante Justice mask instead of the headpiece for the Huntress style. So that would allow us to be able to make a more accurate version of Huntress within DC Universe Online. Next, we have our friend Ocean Master and Black Manta. Obviously, I wanted to have an Ocean Master character, but I also wanted a Black Manta character. So, and at first, I almost created both characters, but then I came to realize that I had way too many characters. So I combined the two of them into a single character. I cheated a bit. I'm having Black Manta use water powers. Technically, should probably use munitions, but oh well. And there's a few ways to be able to get a really cool looking Black Manta. Like here you can see I'm using a lot of the scuba style for my Black Manta character, but we'll show a few alternatives in just a minute. Black Manta was one of the highlights in the Aquaman movie. If somehow you didn't see the Aquaman movie just yet, go watch it. Black Manta was pretty much perfect in that movie. So this is the Tier 5 Black Manta set of gear that we've had in DC Universe Online for pretty much forever, as far as I recall. Actually, it's a Tier 5 set of gear that was added with Origin Crisis, if I recall correctly. It doesn't exactly look like Black Manta. Originally, when they were giving us styles, iconic styles, that were kind of sort of inspired by certain characters, but somehow they did not want to recreate exactly those characters. So this is a more armored, bulky versions of our friend Black Manta. But then eventually they gave us a perfect Black Manta style, and this here is the enhanced version of the style. So if you wanted to recreate your friend Black Manta, now you have no more excuses. You have everything you need to be able to do so. I probably could update it a bit using some of the Son of Manta style. I'll have to give it some thoughts. Like I could probably update the boots. We'll see. And next we have our evil Yellow Lantern Batman. I gave him a bit of an upgrade thanks to the Sinister Chroma material. When we got the Sinister Chroma, I had to get a Chroma material for my Yellow Lantern and my Green Lantern. I had to. I even got one just yesterday for my Red Lantern character. If somehow you missed out on the Chroma materials, take a look on the broker. There might still be a few available right now. And of course, once we got the Batman Beyond style, even better, here it's a mishmash of the Batman Beyond and the Red Death style. Holy crap, it gave us a pretty cool looking Yellow Lantern Batman. We got pretty much an embarrassment of riches but nowadays if we want to create not just a Batman type character, but an evil Batman type character. Although even if you don't have some of the more recent styles, like for a long time we could already recreate a pretty good version of our friend Batman Beyond using the Batwoman t-shirt. Obviously it's not quite the same, but it works well enough. Here I'm using a mishmash of the Alan Scott armor, the future Batman armor, and the Dark Spectre batsuit. And it gave us a pretty cool looking Yellow Lantern Batman, which is all equipped to go into battle, fully armored. And of course, I'm using the Sinister material because you have to. And next we have our friend Ultraman. And this is pretty darn close to the New 52 version of the character. For the cape, sadly, bad news, you have to buy it from the broker. It comes from the Panopticon Elite version of the mission, but It's a rare drop, so the odds of getting it are pretty slim. So you may as well bite the bullet, play the broker, and earn as much cash as you can in order to be able to purchase the cape. The same for the emblem. You pretty much have to purchase the emblem on the broker at this point. The emblem will probably be available on the Booster Gold vendor, but it'll probably be available like in 6 months. So if you don't want to wait, just bite the bullet and buy it from the broker. Here I made a version that is kind of sort of an mixture of a few versions of Ultraman. I'm using the Stalwart Defender chest to be able to get a bigger emblem, but I'm using the Sinistral gloves, and I love using gold with this version for some reason. The shoulders in gold and the belt. That is a bit something to our little friend here. In some of the versions of Ultraman, there was like a blue and gold, blue and yellow and red version, or blue and gold and red version. Like in the animated version of Crisis on Two Earths, there is quite a lot of yellow in our friend Ultraman, so it is kind of sort of what I tried to emulate a bit. And this here is pretty similar to the new 52 version, although I'm using the Stalwart Defender chest to be able to get a slightly bigger Ultraman emblem, but everything else is almost the same. The one distinction, I guess, also is the aura. Instead of using the green kryptonite aura, I'm using the red kryptonite aura. It's the main distinction. So you can create a few pretty darn good version of our friend Ultraman if you need to. Next, we have our friend Allman. It's a sort of mishmash between various versions of Allman, the one from Crisis on Two Earths, and some of the previous versions we got. Like the one in Crisis on Two Earths would have like a sort of just an O as an emblem, but here obviously I'm using the Allman emblem from the new 52. So it's a weird mishmash of a whole bunch of stuff to create a somewhat good-looking Allman character. And I cheated a bit. I used even a few bits like the mask from the Court of Owls talent character to be able to get a different Allman Armory. Of course, I also had to use a few Batman-related items. Like here, I'm using the Daring Vigilante gloves, but before I would use the Batman Beyond gloves. Next, we have our friend Magneto First Class. For quite a while, this was my Magneto First Class was my main hero character. Basically, my main character for a long time was the Phantom, but then I had a group of friends who decided to try this universe online, so I created a new character at the time to be able to play with them. Obviously, I wanted to be a controller because I knew that they wouldn't understand how to play as a controller at the time. So I decided to play as a controller. I thought it'd be easier for them to play roles like a healer or tank or even just DPS, which was a bit of a mistake in the end. And so I created a Magneto first class character. I was using mental powers, and I couldn't find a decent, other than Jean Grey. Jean Grey would probably have been the obvious choice, but I didn't want to play Jean Grey for some reasons. So when I started thinking which character could I use for a character with mental powers, and I thought, let's use Magneto. And using telekinetics abilities, I was able to kind of recreate a good version of Magneto's powers within this universe online. And I made him Magneto First Class because at the beginning of First Class, Magneto is sort of a good guy. He's with Professor X and he's fighting the evil forces of Sebastian Shaw. But then, of course, at the end of First Class, he becomes the evil Magneto that we all knew about. So for a while, Magneto was my main hero for quite a while, and for a long time, I didn't care about styles. This was the look of my character for a long time. At some point, I gave him a second armory with a. Oh, let's go with this other look. At some point, I gave him a second armory with the more traditional Magneto style, and then after a while, I would create let's say alternate versions of Magneto using the various styles that I would gather within this universe online. But seeing how I was using Magneto as my character, I did not really need styles. I did not need so whenever they would come up with a new style, like a new Superman style or a new Batman style or any character style, I didn't really want to have those or need to have those because this was the look of my character. I did not need styles way back when. Then at some point I started creating alternate characters, and then I started collecting styles a lot more. And then eventually I changed my Magneto character into my multiverse character. Basically, multiverse used to be my Magneto first class character. So once I became multiverse, then getting new styles became more important. And but I missed having my Magneto character. I missed using mental powers, so I recreated my Magneto first class, but this time as an evil villain, as Magneto probably should be after all. And next we have my Phoenix 5 character. Basically, this is a character that at first I wanted to recreate a Dark Phoenix. We can recreate a pretty good Dark Phoenix character within this universe online, but then I tweaked it a bit. I thought the Avatar of Sin's wings, the Wings of Sins, were a nice addition to my Phoenix type character. And also, I ended up using a whole bunch of stuff. So this is the look I ended up with my Phoenix character. I called it the Phoenix 5 also so that I could have some leeway. At first I thought I could create literally a Dark Phoenix character, but then I thought let's go with Phoenix 5 and it'll give me options to be able to create different armories. And so at first I went with a like basically my idea was to have diverse characters from the Phoenix 5. Like there was a Cyclops, there was our friend Colossus, there was a Namor the Submariner, I forget Emma Frost, and I'm sure I'm forgetting someone. So the idea was pretty much to create the 5 characters from the Phoenix 5 and have an armory for each, but it evolved into something else. And also once I got the Wings of Sins, I decided to add them to my little Cyclops armory. It's not exactly it, but it's close enough. And of course, for Colossus, I couldn't really reproduce exactly the Colossus from the Phoenix 5, but I thought I made a pretty nice looking version here. I could probably easily make a Namor Armory. Not sure what I would do with Emma Frost. Maybe create a male version of Emma Frost. I would have to give it some thoughts. And also, I wanted to have a character that used the Scorching Aura. I love the Scorching Aura. It's for some reason it's probably my favorite aura amongst all the auras. So I thought I have to create at least one character that uses the Scorching Aura. And also, I wanted to have a fire-based character that used it. So that is pretty much what went behind creating our friend the Phoenix 5. I had been wanting to create a Black Lantern character for a long, long time. But I did not want to create just a generic Black Lantern character. I wanted to have like a maybe a Superman Black Lantern character or maybe an Iron Man Black Lantern character, like a basically a mishmash of Black Lantern and something else. And eventually, once we got the an official set of gear for the Black Lanterns, then I had no choice. I knew that I had to create a Black Lantern right there and then. And then I decided to go for a Black Lantern Batman. And it was pretty much my first popular video. Like one of my Black Lantern Batman, I think when he was facing the evil Bane. At the time, it was like my most popular video with like 400 views in like just a couple of days. I know it doesn't seem like much, but way back when it was more views than I ever had with any single video. If I'd been a bit smart and if I'd seen making videos as a business, I probably would have started creating a whole bunch of Black Lantern Batman videos. And it's easy enough. At the time, Black Lanterns were pretty popular. Batman was pretty popular. You smush the two together, and you end up with something that is quite a lot of appeal for a lot of people. We saw the same effect with the Dark Knight Metals, basically combining Batman with a whole bunch of characters, Green Lantern, The Flash. It gave us a whole bunch of characters that are pretty popular right now. So I guess the same held true with the Black Lantern Batman way back when. And of course, at some point, I had to upgrade the look. Like as you see, I gave it once we got accessories. I knew that I had to use the purple skull, the purple flaming skull accessories with this character. It was fitting. But also once we got the chroma materials, Once we got the dark chroma material, I knew that I had to use that material at least with one of my Black Lantern Batman Armory. I should probably create one or two more armories. I'll have to give it some thoughts. Just a side note, I love this portrait. Not sure why, love it. And speaking of Batman being mushed with other characters, here we have my Kid Zoom character that's using mostly the Red Death set of gear. The exception is the shoulders. Basically, I'm using the Sprinter shoulder so that I can get an extra Red Death emblem on our Red Death character. Although this pretty much started as a basically a Reverse Flash or Kid Reverse Flash character. Although way back when Reverse Flash was basically also Zoom, he was Professor Zoom of the 25th century, also known as the Reverse Flash. But then eventually they kind of made it into two different characters. You got Reverse Flash and Zoom, and especially with the TV show. In the TV show, they literally treated them as two different characters. But originally, this was a Reverse Flash character. I created this character pretty much not long after we got the speed, the lightning powers in this universe online. At the time, I knew that I had to have at least one speedster. I love speedster. I'm a big Flash of the. I'm a big fan of the Flash, and I knew I had to have at least one speedster. So I created our friend Kid Zoom. I would also created a hero character way back when. I'd called it Flashback or something like that. Foolishly, I deleted my hero character, but I never deleted Kid Zoom. I should probably rename it to Reverse Flash or something like that, but oh well. Although my Black Flash Armory kind of sort of is reminiscent a bit of Zoom from the Flash TV show. If I just put it like all black or even black with a hint of purple, that could pretty much look like our friend Zoom from the TV show. But I kind of like to have the red and white to give a bit of contrast. The Zoom costume in the TV show doesn't have a lot of contrast, so whenever possible, I try to put a bit of contrast in my costumes if I can. And of course, I had to make a Johnny Quick armory. If you're playing a speedster character, there's quite an embarrassment of riches when it comes to different styles for speedster characters. And especially true if you play an evil speedster. You got the Black Flash, you got Johnny Quick, you can recreate our friend Reverse Flash as you saw. And the Johnny Quick style, this is the enhanced version, looks really nice. For the Reverse Flash, I was using pretty much the classic look, using the Sinister material. But then when we got the Chroma material, I thought I could recreate something a bit reminiscent from the Reverse Flash from the TV show. Basically, they had like the top part of the costume yellow, but pretty much everything, the bottom part was black. So the man in the yellow suit was had a lot of black in his yellow suit, and I thought the Sinister Chroma material would be perfect to recreate that effect, or even better since there is some yellow highlight within the black of the costume. And of course, I kept the boots red, the boots, the belt, and the gloves red, so that there could be a bit of contrast with the character, and also to match a bit with the red of the emblem. And next we have our friend Manic Mad Jack. This pretty much started as a character that had one armory that was pretty much inspired by the Joker, and another armory that was pretty much a Jack O'Lantern type character. But then once we got the style for the Batman Who Laughs, I had to tweak it at least a bit, and I didn't quite turn it into the Batman Who Laughs, but it's pretty darn close. Although my Joker armory evolved quite a bit, at some point I added some stuff from the DC Bombshell Harley Quinn style. I added some coordinate for the backpack or the jetpack, and now I've added a few Joker styles like the pants and the boots and the gloves. I should probably tweak it a bit more. I'll have to give it some thoughts. Again, it was pretty much a an armory with. I had made a sort of Joker armory, but I cheated a bit. I had given him the tech wings and a few other things. And one other armory became a pretty much a Jack in the Box, thanks to the pumpkin headpiece. And then at some point, I knew I had to have a Harley Quinn character. Although it became Bombshell Harley Quinn a little bit by accident, I was more planning to make the classic version of Harley Quinn, and I'll probably make an armory with the classic version of Harley Quinn. But somehow I ended up making a Bombshell version of the character. And then, of course, once we got the Joker Who Laughs, the character evolved well, a little bit in the direction I never expected. And the look looks freaky. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I see this armory, it freaks me out. Our little friend gives us little hearts. So I made a mishmash of the Batman Who Laughs with some Harley Quinn style, and I kind of like the result. And of course, I had to get the bazooka from the Clown Prince during the anniversary event. But again, holy crap, this look freaks me out. And last but not least is our friend Superboy-Prime. If you mush some the House of L style with some anti-monitor style, you pretty much end up with a pretty cool version of Superboy-Prime as he was during Infinite Crisis. So you can get a pretty spot-on version of Superboy-Prime, or I should say the evil Superboy-Prime, if you want to. And you can also get a pretty good version of our friend Superboy-Prime as he was during the Green Lantern Sinister Corps War. But in this case, you need not just the House of L, the anti-monitor style, but also some styles from the Disciple of Parallax. So it gives us a nice Superboy-Prime. Although he never was a Yellow Lantern, he was sporting the Yellow Lantern emblem, at least for a bit. And next we have our friend Superboy-Prime from Countdown. Countdown was a mess of a miniseries, but it gave us a pretty good looking Superboy-Prime, the black and white Superboy outfit. I always thought it looked pretty awesome. And black in this universe online looks awesome with a lot of styles. So I thought with our friend Superboy-Prime, it was a no-brainer. I had to have a black and white Superboy-Prime armory. I had to. But of course, there is the classic Superboy look. Pretty sure I don't need to say very much about that. The only thing is I wish I'm using the Star Wars Defender chest in order to be able to get the biggest Superman emblem we can get. But sadly, as you can see, the Star Wars Defender chest has a whole bunch of useless lines. I wish we had a slimline chest piece that could have an emblem that big. Oh well, it's a minor nitpick. It still allows us to have a pretty good looking Superboy character if we want to. So this is my video for my villain characters for DC Universe Online. If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and I'll see what I can do about answering your questions. Although I made roughly 2,000 videos about DC Universe Online at this point, so if somehow I don't answer your questions, just search in my videos. Odds are I've already made a video that answers your question. And that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.